ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति Yeah, we'll start reading. Shankar.
The self within. Atman is enveloped by concentric layers of matter comprising thoughts and desires. As you move away from your divine center, your ego develops. Your thoughts and desires turn grosser, they multiply. And the farthest point, your ego is maximized. Your thoughts and desires become grossest, countless. Thus, when you live at the lowest level of your personality, your thoughts and desires are gross and numerous. But as you acquire spiritual knowledge, you begin to entertain higher and nobler values. You move up to the highest realms of your personality. Your thoughts and desires improve in quality and reduce in quantity. Consequently, you renounce the lower. Thus, through daily study and reflection on the spiritual literature, your identity with the Supreme Self, the core of your personality. At that stage, your only desire is to realize the self. All other desires vanish. You reach the state of total renunciation. True renunciation, therefore, means delivering everything to the Supreme Reality, not considering the body, mind, and intellect as yours, dropping the false idea of your personal worry and anxiety. Personal self, casting aside your vain, accumulative, and possessive attitude, not arrogating anything to yourself, resigning everything to reality, appropriating everything to real self in you. You then rise above the little self, the ego. It is your ego that becomes involved, enmeshed in the affairs of the world, obsessed with mundane duties and responsibilities. Rising above the ego and identifying with the real self, you remain above worldly care and anxiety. You remain detached, free from persecutions of the ego. Maintaining that exalted state, you plunge into single-pointed meditation, attain spiritual enlightenment. The practice of negating the real little self and asserting the real self helps in raising above your false personality, subduing your ego, effacing your copywriting spirit of me and mine. These feelings and thoughts engender, feed your little appropriating self, the ego. You must negate your ego to attain the state of renunciation. Remember, you are the Supreme Self. Your self is whole, everything. Asserting the self is accepting everything, the entire world as yourself. Renunciation, therefore, is not giving up anything, but taking up the whole world. Not dispossession, but all possession. Thus does renunciation crown you as the King of Kings. The spirit of renunciation purifies action. You must learn to renounce your sense of doership in action. Also, renounce your interest in the fruit of action. Thus must you clip the past and future and plunge in action per se. The spirit of detachment renders your action par excellence. And grandeur of human activity is renunciation in action, not renunciation of action. Renunciation has further been classified under three broad categories known as sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. Sattvic renunciation is the highest, true renunciation. Rajasic is conditioned temporary state of renunciation, and tamasic is the lowest, no renunciation at all. Tamasic renunciation is the relinquishment of obligatory actions out of delusion. A human being has to fulfill the obligation to his family, his business, community, country, etc. Relinquishing duties and responsibilities out of ignorance, indifference is considered tamasic. Also, discarding things out of ignorance of their value because one is not aware of the pleasure content would fall under tamasic renunciation. Rajasic renunciation is the relinquishment of action because of fear of physical or mental pain that it may cause. In that case, the person claiming to have renounced action would willingly take to it if the pain part of it is removed. Such pseudo relinquishment is considered rajasic. Ironically, true renunciation does not mean giving up action. Sattvic renunciation, acclaimed as of the highest order, speaks of performance of action. A human has to perform his obligatory functions in life. He cannot give up his duty and responsibility. He must do what he ought to do without being involved in his action or entertaining a profit motive in it. Just carry out work objectively with no desire driving action, no craving for fruit. Thus, sattvic renunciation means acting without the mind's attachment to action or anxiety for the fruit thereof.
Now, from the values, the highest value being self-realization, we are discussing renunciation from the next angle. The self within is enveloped by concentric layers of matters comprising thoughts and desires. As you move away from your divine center, the ego becomes stronger and stronger. Develops means it becomes stronger and stronger. At the grossest point, where you have moved maximum from the self, it becomes grossest means countless. It's the thoughts and desires are gross, mean, and countless. It means you have moved away from your divine center a lot. Now spiritual practices reverses the travel. Now from the grossest, countless desire, thoughts and desires, a person is moving towards the divine center. So renunciation is as you move closer and closer to your divine center, to that extent, your sense of renunciation is established. More you go closer to the divine center, more your renunciation is established. That's what he's saying. What does that mean practically? Renunciation means improvement in quality of thoughts and desires and reduction of quantity. So what is renunciation now? Renunciation means reduction of thoughts and desires, improving the quality of thoughts and desires. For we have seen already that at your grossest point, the desires are countless and mean, gross. As you are evolving, what happens? Spiritual evolution means reduction of the quantity of the thoughts and increase of quality. What is increase of quality means? What is increase of quality of desires means? From mean, gross, selfish desires, the thoughts and actions move above a larger. You grow to embrace a larger and larger circle. The identification happens with a larger and larger circle. That identification with a larger circle, because of which your thoughts and desires improve in quality and reduce in quantity, is known as renunciation. Now we are discussing renunciation from very many angles. First, he said renunciation is the right value that you place for all that the world offers. Now renunciation means you have to combine all together to get a comprehensive idea of renunciation. As you renounce, as you move higher and higher, you renounce the lower. As you move higher and higher, the lower is renounced. In that sense, renunciation means what? In that sense, renunciation means getting closer and closer to reality. So a person of renunciation is one who has moved closer to the reality. He has moved closer to the reality by moving away from
Cross.
He has moved closer to the reality by moving away from that which is unreal. Only when you move away from unreal, you get closer to the real. You move. Practically, what does it mean? Moving closer to the reality means, practically, it means dropping aside the false idea of your personal self, dropping the possessive attitude. Dropping, again I repeat, dropping the false idea of your personal self. Not only you drop the idea of your personal self, you drop your possessive
Attitude.
The accumulative and possessive attitude is dropped. Now, renunciation is becoming
Closer.
The idea of renunciation, the concept of renunciation is becoming
Closer to
deeper. It's becoming deeper. It is encompassing a few more additions. First, we said renunciation is the higher value. Then he said renunciation means placing the
right
value. Now, renunciation means getting closer to the reality. What is moving away from the reality? casting aside your vain, accumulative, possessive attitude. When your ego that is enmeshed in the affairs of the world, obsessed with mundane duties and responsibilities, that obsession with mundane duties and responsibilities drops off. Today, every human being is obsessed with mundane duties and responsibilities. In fact, it's not a duty at all. What you call as duty and keep yourself occupied throughout is not duty at all. You may think you are doing it. You may think everybody sitting here, not only here, anywhere in the world, everybody believes that they are doing their duties. Vedanta says, what you think your duty is not your duty. Taking care of my family, taking care of my body, taking care of my body, taking care of my possessions, taking care of my family. I am doing all this to
as duty.
Perfection. And is it a duty? The understanding is no, it is not a duty. It cannot be called as a duty at all. Why? Why it cannot be called as a duty? Per se, it cannot be called as duty. It cannot be called as duty per se because doing these things is not elevating you to the level of detachment. Doing these things is making you get more and more attached to them. Not only it is making you get more and more attached to them, what is happening is as you do one, you create 10 more. It's not that you do your duty and it keeps reducing. You do one, out of that one, you have 10 more springing up. And it is called mundane. It's called mundane. Why it's called mundane? Because it doesn't aid you in any way for your growth. If it is not aiding you in any way for your growth, it is mundane. And growth means what? Growth means the concentric layers. Remember the diagram. Growth means you should be getting closer and closer to the reality. Then it is called duty, obligation. If it is taking you away from that, it cannot be called as duty. In fact, people have no time for anything higher at all because they are so caught up in this duties. They don't have any time for higher at all because they are caught up in these duties. And when they have time for higher, the instruments begin to fail. When they start getting ready for the higher, the instruments fail. When the instruments are all right, nobody has time for the higher. This is called mundane. So what is renunciation now? Renunciation is nothing but rearranging your priorities. And the priorities decrease in number. Again, I repeat. Now what it means? Renunciation means rearranging your priorities. Not only rearranging the priorities, decrease in the number of your priorities. Generally, what do you see? The priorities goes on increasing and no time for anything higher. No time for anything higher. See, these Zoom classes and all, what a waste of time it is. At least previously you have to make an effort to come to a place of class. Even that also you need not do. You can just do this and then switch off the camera, have your coffee, and again put the camera on, or permanently switch off the camera, walk around, do all that you are doing, and still keep listening to Vedanta. I used to think, what a natak it is, what a waste of. It's such a, because even that minimum we are not able to take away from anything else and stick to this. Yeah. At least in the physical classroom, some effort you have to make to come. No, sir, but people are seeing this all over the world. No, how much it is benefiting the people around. Yeah. And when I get to know the number of people watching these videos, I get a shock. I think, why so many people are watching it, I used to think. And more people are watching it now. I start thinking, maybe I'm saying something wrong. If the right thing is told, nobody will like to. Yeah, nobody will like to listen if the right thing is told. Nariya per paakranga sarna entertainment arundada, more people will come. If the truth is told, nobody is going to listen. Why? Because renunciation is the plain truth of life, and it is difficult to accept this truth of life. What is the truth of life? Renunciation says, rearrange your priorities, minimize your priorities. A time will come where there is only one priority. If you are able to achieve this, you are practicing renunciation. Multitasking alone doesn't work here. Doing too many things at the same time and all doesn't work here. Either you are doing this or not doing it. So what is renunciation now? Rearranging the priorities, minimizing the priorities, and getting to a point where you have only one priority. That is what he calls by, you are involved, enmeshed in the affairs of the world, obsessed with mundane duties and responsibilities. Enmeshed with mundane duties and responsibilities. And what are the duties that a person do? There is no such thing called duty at all. There is no concept of duty. It is infatuation and attachment that is covering itself as camouflaged as duty. It's attachment. It's attachment that is camouflaged as duty. How do you distinguish? Renunciation means the true value, the right value. So if you don't do it, if you are not there, anyway it's going to, even if you are not there, anyway it's going to continue. So your presence is not making any. Have you ever observed that your presence or absence doesn't make any difference to life, and life continues, life goes on. Okay, there may be a few days of difficulties, but life, it means the exaggerated notion that you have given to your own presence, that you have to do your duties and responsibilities and obligations, is so much of an exaggerated value that you have given to A exaggerated value that you have given to your own presence is what is known as duties and responsibilities. The exaggerated value that one gives to oneself. And what is renunciation? You don't have that exaggerated value. That's all. What is renunciation? You don't have that exaggerated value. You have the right. You have the right value. And ego means exaggerated value only. Ego nale enna artham? What is ego? When you exaggerately glorify oneself, that's ego. Ego na exaggerately glorifying oneself. The mother believes that without her, children will die. The father believes that without them, it will come to an end. Yeah. The person working in the organization believes that, oh my God, naam polanna, the whole thing will collapse. And I am the one who is keeping the whole thing alive. If I don't go, sir, one day if I don't go, sir, you don't know, sir. What you are saying and all is correct, sir, but what you don't know is how important I am. One day if I don't go, you don't know what will happen. Unga class madri kadayadu. It's not like your class. 3 weeks, 3 months, if you don't take class also, nothing will happen. But my work is not like that, sir. One day if I don't go, the whole thing will collapse. This is the exaggerated value that you give for your own self. That's called ego. So what is ego now? An exaggerated value that you give to yourself. Now what is renunciation? Now what is renunciation? You clip the exaggeration and give the right value. And how do you practically achieve it? That's why I gave a practical tip. You rework your priorities, you reassess your priorities, minimize your priorities. Yeah. Sir, after retirement, sir, I'm very busy. Yeah. At least even before retirement, I have only one office. After retirement, what happens? Road la thanni varlana, you will be called. Yeah. Neighbor's house la problem na, you will be called. Yeah. Bangalore la problem na, will be called. Manohar. Teni la problem na kuda, you will be called. Busy. Okay. Always busy. Even I was able to catch him even when he was working in the office, sir. After retirement, I'm not even able to see him. Anytime I call him, he says, sir, I am here very... Manohar, be busy, like this. Don't stop anything. Because I don't have any work to keep you occupied like this. I myself don't have any work. How can I keep you occupied? More and more mundane things will be taken up. Actions taken up out of an inner restlessness is not obligation. It's a weakness. Again, I repeat, action arising out of an inner restlessness cannot be called as obligatory action. You are stable and peaceful inside and you take up action out of an obligation. The restlessness is not driving your action. And most of the time what happens, people get into action out of a sense of restlessness. morning, you are so restless waking up. Yeah. Even when you wake up in the morning, there is no sense of calmness for Sravana and Manana. Even when you wake up in the morning, there is restlessness. It shows that the spirit of renunciation is very, very poor. It shows that the spirit of renunciation is very, very poor. Why? Because the obligations, the priorities are making you, the priorities that you have lined up for yourself is so agitating, is so disturbing. So ultimately it boils down to what? Placing the right value. And the most difficult thing in life is to place the right value. And renunciation crowns you the King of Kings. Yeah. That's why we have the Lord's name, Tyaga Raja, no? Raja means the king. Tyaga means renunciation. So Tyaga Raja means the king of renunciates, the crown, the king. You become the king. But sir, renunciation la, I'll be like a bondi person, no? Yeah. Renunciation means I will not have anything, no. How will I be crowned as the king? You will be crowned as the king because remember these few things. Renunciation purifies the action. Anybody who does pure action becomes the king. Anybody whose actions are pure becomes the king. And what is purity of action? If you understand what is impurity and remove that, what remains is pure. So understand what the impurity is and remove those impurities, what remains is pure. What are the impurities of action? Doership is one impurity. Being result oriented is another impurity. Doership is one impurity. Result orientation is another impurity. What is the sense of doership, which is what I discussed now. The sense of doership is what if you see, the sense of doership is what is discussed just now. Now, what is result? A sincere, dedicated doer has no right in determining the result. That's renunciation. Again, I repeat, a sincere, dedicated doer has no right in determining the result of the action. This brings about a spirit of renunciation. Are you able to follow? This is difficult to accept because we say, how can, okay, if I'm not so a sincere doer, I can understand that. But I, being a very sincere, dedicated doer, how can I not be the determining factor of the result? Renunciation says, we have seen this. I'm not going to elaborate details of all this because we have been seeing it quite often. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha kurunandana. We have seen that. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi, chapter 2. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha kurunandana. Vyavasayi, farmer buddhi, we have said that. A sincere, dedicated farmer doesn't decide the quality, the intensity of the rain. And yet, he has to plow the field. He has to plow the field, but he has no control over that. He can do yajna for rain, he can do prayers for rain, he can do all these for rains, but one thing that he cannot decide is he can pray, he can wish, he can do anything, but one thing he doesn't have control is the rain. A sincere, dedicated farmer, under ideal circumstances, he should have control over the rain, no? Isn't it? A sincere, dedicated farmer should have control over the rain, because I am working so hard in the field. Me being a hard worker in the field, how does rain determine the result of my action? Vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha gurunandana karmanyevadhikaraste mapaleshu kadachana. So what is renunciation? You being a sincere, dedicated doer have no right in determining the result. We have seen that. Result is a complex network which is beyond your, the result is a complex network which is beyond your comprehension, which is beyond your control. One thing you can do is you can be a dedicated, sincere, dedicated, conscientious doer. That much you can do. So what is renunciation? Purifying action. Purity in action means he is a sincere, dedicated, conscientious doer, fully understanding that result is not karmani eva adhikaraha mapaleshu. You have right over the action. You have no right over the result. You have no right in determining the result. You have no right in claiming the result as yours. Rendu right kadayadu. The rights is of two. You have no right in determining what the result is going to be, number one. The second right that you don't have is you cannot claim the result as yours. A person who can act with this knowledge and understanding is a renunciate, is a sannyasi. A person who can act in this manner, who can act in this way, becomes a renunciate. He becomes a sannyasi. Renounce your doership. Renounce the interest in the fruit. Doership is exaggerated notion for your own action. Result is, a person of doership will be affected by the result. A person who is affected by the result will have a strong sense of doership. Both are interconnected. That is why we say you have to clip both. You have to clip both, for one is connected to the other. How is one connected to the other? If you see, have you ever observed what you call as a better future is nothing but the opposite of your past? What you call as better future is exactly the opposite of your past. In the past, if you haven't had wealth, better future for you is, what is better future? To have wealth. In the past, if you have been always 20, 25 people in the house, What is better future? Just a room, sir. In that room, only me. Just me and my TV. That's all. Nobody else. That is better future. Supposing if you had just your own room and your own TV, what is better future? What is better future? ஒரு group ஒரு 4 மனுஷா வேணும் சார். Then only life is. So your past and future are so interconnected, and you need to know to clip both. You need to clip both. So what is it that you have to clip in relation to the past and the future? The doership that comes from the past, the result orientation in relation to the future. So who is a renunciate? The king. A person who is renouncing becomes the king. Why he becomes the king? Who is the king? A king is one who is unaffected. The king means one who is unaffected by, he comes, he is the master and not the, who is the king? The king means one who commands. The king means one who commands, not the one who receives commands. Yeah. So a person of renunciation will be in that commanding position. He will be in that, and everybody wants to be in this commanding position. And the way to be in this commanding position is by developing a genuine spirit of renunciation. So now the other factors that we are adding up to renunciation means resigning everything to the reality, reassessing, reworking, and minimizing your priorities. And then renunciation means purity of action. So many things we have spoken about renunciation till now. And then he goes on to discussing renunciation from the 3 gunas angle also. The sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. So much of analysis is done about what is renunciation. What is renunciation? Now, the last aspect of discussing the concept of what is renunciation is discussing the same renunciation from the 3 angles, from the angle of the 3 gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. What is sattvic renunciation? Sattvic renunciation is doing what you ought to do. Doing what you ought to do. Pleasant, unpleasant, you like, you don't like, it is inspiring, not inspiring, motivating, not motivating. All this is of no consequence. You do that which you ought to do. And when you do that which you ought to do, you are neither involved in the action, you are able to follow all that is said till now. Then it is called sattvic. Then it is known as sattvic renunciation. In this analysis, tamasic, rajasic, and sattvic, you have to observe this one thing. In tamasic and rajasic renunciation, he talks about giving up actions wrongly. In sattvic renunciation, he talks about doing it rightly. When you look at the definition, you will be able to notice the difference. In tamasic renunciation, there is a giving up of doing. In Rajasic renunciation, there is a giving up of the doing. And the moment you give up doing, it means you do not have the right. It means you do not have the right knowledge and understanding. Because of lack of knowledge and understanding, you give up doing. That is Rajasic and Tamasic. Now, what is Sattvic? You do not give up doing at any. You do not give up doing at any point of time. You have only rearranged it, reworked it. You have prioritized it rightly, and you are minimizing your priorities. And whatsoever you do at any given point of time, you are a very sincere, dedicated doer. At any given point of time, you are a sincere, dedicated doer. This is called Sattvic renunciation. But everybody says, I am dedicated, sir. Who says I am not dedicated? Talk to anybody. The fellow comes 1 hour late and he thinks he is very dedicated. Now what can you do? Talk to anybody on this planet. Everybody believes that they are sincere. They believe that they are sincere, they are dedicated. Then how do you define, how do you understand whether you are truly dedicated or not? You are truly sincere or not? What is the yardstick? The yardstick to measure dedication is doing it irrespective of your likes and dislikes. Elsewhere in part A, we saw Thomas Aldous Huxley, the quote, the capacity to do a thing when it ought to be done, whether you like it or not. That is Sattvic renunciation. The capacity to do a thing when it ought to be done, whether you like it or not. Therefore, what is Sattvic renunciation? Doing, and the doing not interfered, not interrupted, not decided by likes and dislikes. Not intercepted by likes and dislikes. No desire driving action, no craving for fruit. See, even not craving for fruit while doing the action also to some extent you can understand. But difficult to understand, no desire driving the action. How can there be an action without a desire backing it? For actions has to be backed by a desire, and yet Sattvic renunciation says there is no desire that is backing the action. Two extremely contradictory states. There cannot be an action minus the desire. At the same time, Sattvic renunciation says action minus the desire. Therefore, of these two, what is possible, what is not possible? Action minus the desire is not possible. Therefore, Sattvic renunciation is not possible. No, let us not even discuss that, for it is very clear that it is not. For it is very clear that it is not possible. Then how do we understand that? What is desire backing an action means? This is where knowledge creeps in. This is where knowledge comes in. What is desire backing an action means? Desire means a hope of fulfillment, expectation of fulfillment by the doing and the result. What does desire means? Desire means a hope for fulfillment. And that hope of fulfillment can come either through the doing or the result of the doing or a combination of both. Sir, result varlena kuda naan panniten sir. I am not bothered about the result, but I did. So fulfillment arises either out of the doing or out of the result of the doing. So what is no desire driving the action? An understanding that desire means future happiness. Desire means future happiness. Desire means experiencing happiness. Future happiness means what? Are you able to follow what I am saying? Experiencing happiness means, future happiness means wanting to experience happiness from your own experiences of life. You have understood one thing, what? There is no experience that is permanent. You don't need Krishna to teach you that. Your own experiences teach you that no experience is permanent, and you hope for something permanent through. You know that there is no such thing as permanent experience, and you want permanent experience. Yeah. I only want Nitya Ananda, sir. Nitya Ananda. Oxymoron adu. Yeah, Nityananda, Nitya and Ananda is a oxymoron. Because Ananda is an experience. Nitya means permanent. There cannot be a permanent happiness. And what does desire means? Wanting to experience permanent happiness. Now, what is Sattvic renunciation? What is Sattvic renunciation? What are you renouncing here? Now, what is Sattvic renunciation? What are you renouncing? Desire that gives you a hope of a permanency. You are clipping. That's all. Desire that gives you a hope of permanency. You are clipping. I don't want anything for myself, sir, but at least my children should be permanently. At least they should be permanent. What is wrong in that, sir? What is wrong in wishing happiness of the children? You should work for the moksha of your children, not happiness of your children. For there is no such thing as happiness. Happiness being an experience by nature is impermanent. And what is knowledge? Recognizing the impermanent as impermanent is knowledge. So recognizing the impermanent as impermanent and getting into doing that which you ought to do is called Sattvic renunciation. Are you able to follow? This is called Sattvic renunciation. Now, opposite of the Sattvic renunciation is Rajasic renunciation and Tamasic renunciation. What is Rajasic renunciation? Pseudo relinquishment is called Rajasic. Relinquishing out of ignorance is called Tamasic. Relinquishing out of ignorance is Tamasic. Pseudo relinquishment is Rajasic. Not relinquishing but doing with understanding is Sattvic. So, again, renunciation is seen from the angle of Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic. What is Tamasic relinquishment. Relinquishing out of ignorance, not knowing the value. Yeah. What is in a BMW Rolls-Royce car, sir? Anyway, all are engine and four wheels, no? All are not engine, all are not four wheels. There is a difference. Not knowing the difference, not knowing the difference, when the person relinquishes, it's called tamasic in nature, because a fellow is ignorant. Keep the pebbles and throw the diamonds away. Because of ignorance is tamasic. What is rajasic renunciation? Maintenance problem, insurance problem, service problem, so much of problems, sir. Adnala better not to have a BMW car. This is called rajasic, because you have not renounced anything. You want it. You want it, but you are not willing to pay the. You want it, but you are not willing to pay the price to possess it. Supposing if somebody gives the car, where somebody says, the company says, insurance is taken care of, service is taken care of, how much ever times you smash the car, we will fix it for you free. Na, I will be the first person to go and take her. I will be the queue on the path. I will be standing right in the front. Rajasic. This is called rajasic renunciation. And what is sattvic renunciation? Neither interested in acquiring, neither interested in possessing, but only focus is on doing that which ought to be done, because doing that which ought to be done is the only way that you will get closer to the self. The only way that you get closer to the self is by doing that which you. Only way you get closer to the self is by doing that which you ought to do. He has no interest in the doing. He has no interest in the results of the doing, but he does it because his priority is, he does what he ought to do for the family. He does what he ought to do for the country. He does what he ought to do to a partner, but he is not interested in the family, the partner, the country. He is not interested in any of that. He is doing all this because this is the way to the goal of reality. Why the goal of reality? Because all experiences implies impermanence, and you are looking for the permanent. Experience nale enna ardham? Have you ever thought about it? Experience equals impermanence. If you understand experience equals impermanence, you have gained a bit of knowledge in artham. You have gained a reasonable amount of knowledge, as because experience itself means impermanence. How do you say experience itself means impermanence? Because all experiences, each and every experiences has a beginning and an end. Anything that has a beginning and an end is impermanent. And desire means looking for permanent happiness, which cannot be gotten through Permanent happiness cannot be an experience. Then what is it? That which is beyond the body, the mind, the intellect, that which transcends the instruments, that which transcends the equipments, that which transcends the three states, that which transcends the five koshas, is the state of reality, which is not an experience. That is why you can't even say experience of self-realization. You can't even say that strictly. Since we do not know anything other than experience, we have to keep using the word experience, 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 because experience itself means impermanence. That is why we can't even say experience of self-realization. Abdina, the experience of self-realization, it will have a beginning, and that has a beginning will have an end. Abdina, you will sadhanalam panni, you attain self-realization, you experience it, and then half an hour later, phone call comes. And then say, visa is denied in the experience of self-realization is out. You sit in meditation, self-realization, you experience, and then open the newspaper, share market is down, abdinna. Bliss of self-realization is gone. Yeah. You meditate, you experience the bliss of self-realization, and then go to the doctor, and the doctor says, "We have just come a little bit late." Yeah. We have come little bit late. Anyway, few more days, be happy and do whatever you want to do now. The bliss of self-realization is gone, because anything that is an experience is impermanent. That is why renunciation is knowledge. What is the knowledge? The knowledge that tells you that experience means impermanent, and you are not looking for any experience. You are not even looking for a spiritual experience. And there is no such thing called permanent experience. No, sir. Maybe you don't know. Vaikuntha is a permanent experience. Shivaloka is a permanent experience. It is not possible. Why? Because experience means that which is bound by time. Experience is that which is bound by time. And anything that is bound by time means has a beginning and an end. Therefore, even renunciation is not an experience. It's a maturity. It's a higher state. Are you able to follow? So, sattvic renunciation. What does it mean? Doing not because you are going to get anything out of this doing. You do because it had to be done. What will I get out of this? I am not interested. But you will get something. Whatsoever I get, I will be happy. That is sattvic renunciation. What are you interested? I am not interested in getting anything. But will you not get something? Yes, definitely I will get something. And whatsoever I get, my equanimity remains the same. I may get exactly what I want. I may get more than what I want. I may get less than what I want. I may get exactly the opposite of what I want. But for sure, in the novel, of these four, one thing is going to come for sure, and whatsoever it is, you are unaffected by it, is called sattvic renunciation. And rajasic renunciation is renouncing it out of Pseudo renunciation. You don't want to, you want it, but it is too painful, sir. Pain, yeah. I will come for the class and all, but it's too early and I cannot come. Yeah, it's too early. That's why. Otherwise, I'm interested to come, but it is too early. Yeah. First, the class was at 6:45. At one point of time, the Sunday morning class was at 6:45. After it moved to 7 o'clock, and then it moved to 7:15. Yeah. இதுக்கெல்லாம் group வந்து they will represent also. Yeah. Group வருவாங்க to represent. Why? 6:45 is too early. We will keep it to 7. Okay, 7. From 7, it has come to 7:15. Okay. From 7:15, it has come to 7:30. From 7:30, it has come to 7:45. We are growing, huh? I don't know. Huh? We are growing. Growth. Yeah. This is what is called why? Because it's too early, sir. Why it's too early? See, I have to have coffee at 6:30, sir. The coffee kudichittu, I cannot come for class at 6:45 because coffee is more important than coffee lam kudichittu I will come. Illanna find out where there is coffee outside the classroom, keep coffee at 6:30, have coffee and then rush into it. This is called rajasic. This is called rajasic renunciation. You can't do it because of the pain involved. Tamasic renunciation is not even knowing the value of it. You give up because you do not know the value of it. Idalla I know it already, sir. All this I know already. Yeah. What is Bhagavad Gita? Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma puleshu kadachana. That's what Bhagavad Gita is almost, sir. What is Bhagavad Gita? Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirvavati bharata. That's serial pa. That's not that's not Bhagavad Gita. That is TV serial. That is. Adukkum Bhagavad Gita kum connection illa. What is Bhagavad Gita, sir? Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirvavati bharata. Adana, sir, Bhagavad Gita. Adu serial. It has got nothing to do with not knowing the value. You drop what you ought to do. Not knowing the value, you drop what you ought to do is called tamasic. Because of the pain involved, you drop that which you ought to do. That is rajasic. What is sattvic? Doing that which ought to be done, irrespective of the pain component, irrespective of the result component, irrespective of whether you like it or not. You do because it ought to be done. A person practicing sattvic renunciation thus gets qualified for meditation, self-realization. With this, we have concluded the topic, what is renunciation? This chapter itself is quite a long chapter, and each and every topic runs into a few pages. Rest of the lessons, you will not find the chapters running into few pages like this, 1 page, 1.5 page. But you find in this particular chapter, renunciation, each and every topic running into few pages, because the subtlety of the subject is so much that much of analysis and elaborate explanation has to be given. Now, even the next topic, way to success, goes into 2 pages. Renunciation is bliss goes into 4 pages. A very important lesson for Shravana and Manana is this lesson. renunciation. And we have finished the topic, what is renunciation. Next class, we will continue with way to success.
I have a question, sir. Venkatachalam has got a question.
Venkatachalam. Is experience impermanent because it is a subject-object relationship under duality? Don't bring in subject-object relationship to bring about the impermanency. The impermanency is, as I said, impermanency is determined by the time. It is bound by time. Experience means which is bound by time, and anything that is bound by time is impermanent. Again, I repeat. Experience means that which is bound by time. And that which is bound by time is impermanent. Why? Because it has a beginning and an end. In that way, subject is also impermanent, object is also impermanent, because both has a beginning and an end. So if you stretch it to that way, it is still correct. But I would not stretch it so much now. I would keep it to this. What?
It's a time.
Experience means
time dependent.
Time dependent. It is bound by time. And anything that is bound by time is
impermanent.
And what is it that is not bound by time? There is nothing that is not bound by time. Therefore, all that you experience is
impermanent.
Therefore, you drop everything. That's what renunciation does. Is it okay?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. We continue with way to success next session.